Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. The time is nigh, the time is now, the time is here. It's Isofarian Guard by Sky Kingdom Games. We're gonna unbox this epic box. This is a huge box. It stands like, I don't know, it's monstrous. It's like about as big as my arm when it comes to how tall it is and how wide it is and how everything it is and how enormous it is. This is an epic 1 to 2 player narrative campaign game. And what you see here are all the different characters that you're gonna encounter as you play through it. I shouldn't say encounter. These in theory are the characters you're going to be as you're playing through this. And like I said, it's 1 to 2 players. So if you're into those dungeon crawlers, but you don't want to have to control a whole bunch of characters, this might be the game for you because you're only ever going to have to control 2 at the most. You're going to guide a pair of these guards through different campaigns. I believe there's 5 different campaigns in the base box here, and I'm excited to see if there's going to be more coming. But of course, this epic campaign alone can last anywhere from 120 to 300 hours depending on how you play through the game. You're going to take your characters, you're going to upgrade them through a bag building system and through different abilities and cards you find along the way that are going to give your character more stats, more weapons, more awesomeness, and more just straight up glory. Before we go into this unboxing, I do want to disclose that this is Colin's all-in Kickstarter, so I want to thank him over at the One Stop Co-op Shop for allowing me to do an unboxing of Isofarian Guard. Sadly, at the end of this unboxing, I have to give this back. He wants to do a playthrough of this. I don't know why. I'd be more than happy to do the playthrough, but he wants to do a playthrough of this, which is fantastic. Then I am going to be stealing it back getting a chance to borrow it again, and I might do my own playthrough of this as well. And as time goes on, you'll see Colin and myself play through this together over here at Meet Me at the Table during our live playthroughs that we do every Monday. Being an all-in Kickstarter pledge also comes with a whole ton of card sleeves. I'm not going to go through these. You've seen sleeves before, but for people interested in wondering what you need to sleeve this game, it looks like they're 63 by 5 by 88 millimeters, and they also have another set of cards that are 52 by 52, and that's the only 2 types of cards you're going to find in this game. So if you're looking for sleeves, those are the sizes you're going to want. Now, if you're excited to see what's inside Isofarian Guard by Sky Kingdom Games, then I need you to meet me at the table. I've put our mammoth game box to the side to show off the neoprene mat that was also part of the all-in Kickstarter pledge. This neoprene mat is for the Isofarian Guard. It is dual-sided, so there is another side, which I believe is going to be another part of the game. This is going to show you all the different locations that you could potentially go on, and I'm sure depending on what campaign you're in, it's going to have different 77s, for example. Or if you go to 92 in campaign 1, it'll be a different thing than going into it in campaign 3. On top of that, as you're traveling around this potential world, I believe you're also going to run into side quests of that nature where you can then go to these different nodes and perform one of the side quests that are part of the activity as well. So there is a lot of content in this game. Just looking at the amount of nodes that you can go to, it's astronomical. Oh my gosh, and I'm sure there's ones on the back side too. Yes, I can see a 14 and a 13, but I believe this is your starting side, so I don't want to show the other side. My goal when doing this unboxing is not to spoil too much, but still be able to demonstrate all the different parts of this game. Now it's time to unbox the behemoth that is Isofarian Guard. The interesting thing about the way that this is stored is it's stored in a sideways type way of doing things, and I'll explain that in just a second as soon as I get the top of this thing. Oh my gosh, no. Close-up of Isofarian Guard. So on top it shows you kind of a first-time setup if you're interested in setting up, along with the fact that this is run by, what do you call it, Foreteller. So Foreteller does have an ad for it down here. Please go to Foreteller and check this out. Foreteller is absolutely amazing. They do narrations, and even they're expanding even to give like ambient sounds for RPGs and things of that nature. So please go check out Foreteller. They're a fantastic group. On top of that, like I said, first time setup, it kind of gives you a way to put it all together. On top of that, I believe they have some learn to play videos on their own site, and if you're looking for some other good videos on top of these, Canje Studio and the One Stop Co-op Shop streamed channel with Steve and Kim, they have done some work on Isofarian Guard, so please go check out those channels. I'll put a link to them in the description of this video if you're looking for some great playthroughs and unboxing of components and just understanding the rules of the game. So I'll put this to the side. Now what I meant by this is, as you can see, this entire game is built from the side. So the box goes on top, but you can pull everything out from the front of this. So I'm going to move this back almost off the table. I can't actually go off the table because I've got edges of my table, but we're going to pull these all out individually and take a look. So the first thing we have is our player boards. This is all the player boards for our characters that we're going to be going through the game. And the cool thing about these player boards is, as you can see, it's got a cover on it that the cover has indentions on it. So it can be your save point. You can have your save point right here. So you put your character cards in here, you put your different tokens to where they're supposed to be on the player mat. And then once you're done with that, you take your little thing here that is made by Game Trays, put it on nice and snug, and then store it back in here. And when you're ready to play again, you pull it back out. So it's a really great way to keep everything together. Now, quickly looking at what we have here, we have our player board that has all the different equipment and things you're going to store in bags. On top of that, it shows your stats and your attack and defense values. Then on this side, it shows where you're going to be putting the different upgrade cards and things you're going to use for particular battles or things of that nature. And you'll see a lot of that during the playthroughs that we do. And then we have, I guess, the bottom of it too. So this is just one of the 2 player boards. Remember, this is only a 1 to 2 player game, so there are only 2 player boards, and they're going to be exactly the same. There's another one right here. So we have our 2 characters and the player boards that go like that. We're going to put them back over to the side and move on to something else, but I do think it's great that you can save your game at any time and come on back to the game without having to worry about resetting everything up and trying to find what you had and where it was or what values you had or write anything down. It's a really cool system. The next thing we have are maps, enemy dashboards, and miscellanea. Is our next box. And I just love the fact that this all gets stored in there. And on top of that, if you look at the back of this, notice it has this little marking right here. This is not some super cool little insignia. This tells you where it goes when it comes to re-putting everything back into this box. So for example, this would be the next one on top of the player boards. And it shows you exactly how to do that. So we're just going to open these up. And again, doing my best to not spoil anything, but it's going to do the best I can. Most of the non-spoilery stuff is going to be card related. I'm probably not going to go through too many of the cards, but you're going to see the components because that's the part of the game. Now, if you didn't want to deal with this huge giant neoprene mat, it does come with the actual game board itself, which is almost exactly the same size. It's pretty much exactly the same size. So we have a game board. It is exactly the neoprene mat, so I'm not going to pull that out too far. We do have our enemy dashboards, and then we have all the different cubes that we're going to use when it comes to playing our game. And we'll go through a lot of what these cubes and everything do while we do the playthrough, and we'll continue on with them during the unboxings. But they have a lot of cool looking ones here, and we'll see what they all do. These are the enemies, and again, their health, attack, and defense values, and then the different cards associated with them. And I believe you can have up to 4 enemies at one time. If you have more, I think you're either dead or I don't think it's possible because there's only 4 boards. I'm not sure though. We'll have to see how that works for the playthrough, but I believe we only have up to 4. Well, I don't see why. two on 2 is usually not a good plan. Now these, again, I'm trying not to spoil too much, but it's kind of hard when they're all just in here. These are close-up of some of those towns that you saw. Now I'm not going to go through everyone. You are going to see this one because this is the one that was on top. So this is the one you see here. And again, you can go to different nodes in these towns that are going to bring you to different parts in the campaign storybooks. This is, like I said, a zoomed in part of Mir, which was on our neoprene mat as just one simple, one token, or node, I should say. Oh, here it is, Mir, right here. So when you go to Mir, you might have to go into the zoomed in map, or if it's not maybe something that's super important during your campaign, it might just be okay to have just read 74 and it'll tell you what's going on there based on what campaign you're in. Again, not exactly sure, but I can see how that's going to work. Now on top of that, here are all the other characters you saw in the front of the box that you can be as you play through the game. These are all the different, I believe, Isofarian guards that you're going to play through and have to be able to learn their different ways of fighting and things of that nature. I'm sure they all have different potential abilities and different weapons that they're going to be using. So this is super cool that you get to play through all these different kinds of characters. I think that'll be really neat. And then we have a Lux Essence and a Sil Essence. I'm going to guessing Sil is gold and Lux Essence might be some type of maybe magic, or maybe it's some kind of faith points or something of that nature. Again, we shall see as we continue unboxing. So there you have it. That is what is in this particular tray. It is just going to be our Isofarian guards that we're not playing that are going to go in here. The enemy boards, as well as these 2 particular dials, and of course all of the different chips that you see off to the side there. Next is the books of Isofar. Oh my gosh, it's super heavy to get these things out of here. Let's see if I can do it. Whoa, wow, I need to go to weight training just to pick this box up. This is going to have fabric bags, rule books, reference guides, player aids, index boxes, quest books, and campaign books as well. So we'll take this off. And they have the books right here, or the bags right in front of us. They say the Isofarian Guard, super cool. The bags are super deep and exciting. Oh look, they've got like it's actually like a whole pouch. It's not just like goes to like a point. It's an actual pouch type container. So you can almost, maybe if you're lucky enough, get this to just sit on your table like that. Maybe not that one. But it comes with 3, 1 for each player, I believe, and then 1 of course will be the enemies, is how I'm guessing that is going to work. Then we have our different guides here. This is going to be, I believe, our player aid, I'm guessing. Let's see what it is. Start of round, guard turn, enemy turn, cleanup phase, end of round. Yeah, this is going to be our player aid is my guess. And then we have our rule books and all the different campaign books. We have 1 rule book, we have a reference guide and a rule book. So that's fantastic. Next we have all of our campaigns. 1, 2, 3, and you notice on this it shows you, I believe, the characters that are going to be associated with those campaigns. 1, 2, 3, and then there's going to be a 4, and then our 5th one is right down here at the bottom. So there are 5 campaigns in here. Then we have the indexes, and we also have quests. So we have a whole book on side quests and a whole book on indexes. So we've got we've got so many books, it's out of control. I do believe, from what I understand, this quest book right here, the side quest book, is not narrated by Foreteller, but I believe that is something that they're working on to make happen. Hopefully coming soon, maybe in an upgrade of some kind. But the campaign is fully voiced and narrated by Foreteller. On top of that, I believe there's also ambient music that goes along with particular parts of the story that are happening, and you get to kind of, so after the thing is read, that kind of keeps on playing while you're deciding what you want to do, or you're going into a certain battle of some kind. So we have all the books, that's it. Now there is one thing I want to jump back to, and that is this Lux Essence. I said it was like a magic or maybe a faith or something. No, this is experience. These are tracks your experience points. Which makes perfect sense. Why? We had nothing to track our experience points. Now, I do want to say these do spin pretty easy, so maybe another solution might be better, like a set of dice, or just maybe push these down a little bit more. Maybe it'll actually not spin as much. No, it still spins. So maybe using dice or maybe some off-screen record keeping of some kind might be your best bet. And the still one also spins a little bit freely as well, so I could see those potentially losing their spot as you go through. But I'm sure people are pretty creative in a way to mitigate that and deal with it on their own. Those are all the books. Let's put those aside and move on. Next in our box, we have Isofarian materials here. Armor cards, accessory armor, enemy drop cards, harvesting cards, item cards, mining cards, speaking stone cards, and weapon cards. These are all going to be in this box. And the box does, if you notice, have like a third extra lip here so that it won't crush anything in there. It won't actually crush the cards, which is going to be good. Now, these are those 52 by 52 cards. I'm not going to show too much except for ones that might potentially be on the front of these cards. Maybe there's one that might not be as powerful, I don't know. Here we got Radiant Lux. We've got, and these do have dividers in them. And as you can tell, it does have 2 rows. So when you do sleeve them, as you can tell by how many are here, it wouldn't all fit in one. So they can sleeve together in those. I'll open up some of these, maybe find something that might be part of a starter set or something. And then we can take a look at least a couple of these cards. Here are 2 starting cards that you're going to be starting with. One's the Captain's Blade and one's the Guard's Tunic. Now on the back of them, it also shows kind of some things here. This is the type of thing it is, a weapon. If they have names up here, it's an ability that you can unlock. These are going to be where you can put stones, I believe is what they call them. And you can get different abilities based on those. This shows the rarity of it and of course the name. So here's just 2 of them. And of course, and down here it has what extra modifiers you get. Like, so say it might help with strengths or different, or it might cost things to have certain items or something. So those are just your starting cards you're going to get out of all of that equipment that we found right here. This is there, and that's just 2. Out of all of this, look at all this. And some of these are going to be things you can harvest or even things that you can mine, and you can use those to potentially upgrade some of your equipment or be able to make brand new equipment out of what you find, which is a super cool part of the game. Here, for example, are 2 different types of resources. We've got wolf pelts and metal fragments. These are ones you'd find very early in the game, I believe, based on the rarity here of a 1 star. Also down here, you notice in the corner, you're going to be gaining these resources. and you're replacing them into the satchel area of your character board. And you can only ever hold 4 different types of items in the satchel area, and once you get to have to grab a 5th one, you'll have to decide if you want to keep the ones you have or discard one from there. Though these particular ones you can continue to stack, so you could have up to 2, 3, or even 4 of them in one particular satchel, from how I understand it. I could be wrong, but that way you don't have to have like 4 wolf pelts and carry them around. That'd be instead you can pile up to at least 4 of these, I believe, into a particular satchel, from how I understand it. And then you could take potentially 2 of these wolf pelts and this metal fragment and bring it somewhere, and maybe they'll be able to make you better armor or weapons of some kind. And that, I mean, now of course it might not be exactly how it works, but I think you get the idea. There is a fun, cool crafting system, so you can gather all this neat stuff and make cool new things, or even upgrade things that you have. The next thing in the box is the field events, enemies, and abilities. Oh, this box is ripped. That's too bad. That's a sad, sad state of affairs. But that's okay. That's what tape is for. We'll have to deal with that at a certain time. Also, this one here is empty. There's nothing in this one. It's an empty box, but it's by design. It's by design to be an empty box, because then you can put the cards in it. Once you sleeve them all, you're able to get them all into both of the boxes, and it has a protector in here to keep it from getting smashed. But once you get all the cards there, you'll be able to have them all in there, and they're going to be protected and be able to get back in here without any problems. Oh, there's other stuff on the back, so I'm just going to put this on the side. But then we have our field events and enemies, and again, these are all in a particular order, from how I understand it. And there's even cards in here you shouldn't even look at. For example, this one says Campaign 5 Bosses. Do not open until I'm told to. So we put that back. We don't get to look at those. But there's some of our events and things of that nature. On top of that, we're going to have our abilities in here, I think, as well as the enemy cards. So we'll have to go through a few of these and see if there's any in here from the very beginning of the game that I can show you maybe a couple of these cards. Here's just a few of the abilities our characters get, and these are the starting abilities you get when it says let's learn how to play the game. Here is the very first card you get. So I'm not really spoiling too much. It's going to be the first thing you ever get. We have Guard, Feint. We also have Advance, and we get Cross Slash as an ability for our weapons. These are going to be defensive. Now, what you're seeing here is up on top, you're going to see the different, whether or not it's a chip activation flip icon, which when you do, it flips over and has something completely different on the other side. So it's kind of neat, because you're going to be moving through these different abilities to, you're going to go from guarding to taking cover, or you're going to go from feint to preparation, or an advance to just a critical strike. So there's a lot of different cool things that as you interact with these cards, you're going to be able to do. Now, in order to interact with them, you have to pay your AP cost, which is your activation points down here. It also shows whether it's a primary ability or a secondary. Like this is the primary one and this is the secondary. When you start the game, these are all going to be set to their primary abilities. On top of that, we do have the different chip type and cost, and we have what it's supposed to do. So here's what it would cost us 1 defense chip to be able to activate this card, and then it would do what it says on the bottom here. And same with this one, you'd have to use an attack and defense chip, or this one's just a straight attack chip. And then this is going to be Cross Slash. This is a card that is a stone bound ability, and you're going to be able to use these based on your weapons, and as you get more weapons, I think you can equip more of these onto there. And they can do certain things. This one's going to attack all enemies, which is going to be fantastic. And it does only have a back. This one doesn't flip, but these do, which is pretty sweet. Now, these are just some of the abilities, and I sadly can't show you any more because those you're going to gain through the campaign. I don't want to spoil anything else from it. I'm only going to show one enemy, and I'll show this Timberwolf. The Timberwolf does have his own set of stuff here. This is its health, its activation points, its defense, and its attack strength. This is, I believe, its difficulty, so it's a 1, which is why I chose this particular enemy. These enemies do have different things on the back that you're going to gain, so you get 2 lucks and a wolf pelt if you defeat this wolf. The wolves all come, or any enemy I should say, comes with an entire set of cards that you're going to be drawing to see what they do. For example, this Timberwolf, I would go through from top to bottom and do what it says until it gets to the end of turn. So it would target the lowest health, and at aggro, it would attack using swipe, using 1 action point with +2 attack, I believe. And if the attack deals damage, then it would growl using another action point if it had it, to be able to add this to the target's bag, which is probably like a fear token or something that's growling at you. And there are 2 different Timberwolves. And the cool cool thing about this is as you play through the game, the Timberwolves themselves will get a little bit more powerful. So you get like, you'll be fighting level 2s and level 3 type Timberwolves. So the wolves don't become obsolete as the game goes on. They kind of go level with you a little bit. Now, of course, that's just one enemy. I don't know if they all do that, but it's kind of cool that that's how they do. Now, of course, you're going to be gaining resources from them, for example, those wolf pelts. So you're going to need to probably take on some of these wolves if you need that particular resource. You're going to want to go find them somewhere. Maybe they live in the forest or something, I'm guessing, or maybe they live in the farmhouse. I don't know, but I'm going to probably go with the forest first. I do want to mention that they do all come with a full set of these divider cards, so you can put them in down, and it looks like you have lock cards, unlock cards, and it has one for each of the different Isofarian guards and all the different enemies as well. So there's a ton of different divider cards, which is fantastic, so you can just grab what you need to out of the box. This also goes for those smaller cards as well. Those also came with a whole bunch of dividers too. We're coming to some of the last things in the box. Now, interestingly enough, it does come with a big foam piece. I do not recommend getting rid of this because this does all pack together nicely with, and I believe those foam things are there for a reason. And here are all the different chips that we're going to use for this game. Like I said, this is a bag building game, and so you're going to be gaining chips and removing chips from this. Here are just an example of some of the chips. These chips are the exact same chips you would find. I believe they use the same manufacturer as Chip Theory Games that does a fantastic job when it comes to production of games. And these are going to be the single attack chips you get, and the next ones are the double attack chips, and you're going to be told what to put in there. So you're going to be putting in these numbers equal to your attack value, and then you're going to put shields in based on the number of shield tokens you have, and wherever those are got to be here somewhere. Here's the shield tokens. Those are double shield tokens. I bet the shield tokens are here. Here's the shield token right here. You're going to put these in equal to your defense, and then of course any of your items and equipment and things are going to be able to be put in there as well. Now, as you're going through the battle, chips will be added to it back and forth depending on what happens. For example, you could get poisoned, and you'd have to take a poison chip. Now, I apologize, I don't know what all these different chips do yet, but we'll see what they do in the game as we play through it. At some point, these are adding defense, I believe. Let's see what these do. These are health chips right here. I'd love to pull health chips. Those are fantastic. I'm going to guess these are maybe status ones back here. Looks like negative to your attack. That's no good. I have no idea what those are. No idea. These are double ones. These are those are going to be able to do attack and defense at the same time. They can trigger certain things. Look, they got frost chips maybe. Let's see what other one. This looks maybe like a potion, or maybe it's poison or something, and you don't want poison. Poison is bad. But do know there is a ton of chips in here. I think it's over 200 different chips that you're going to be placing into and out of bags depending on what the situation arises for your particular character. There's one more thing in this box. I'm going to have it slide right on out. This is its set of miniatures. And this game isn't really a miniatures game. It's more of a narrative-driven game, but it does have a whole set here. Look at these miniatures. They're going to be awesome. And since it is a one to two player game, and if you are playing one player, I believe you do have to use both the characters. It does have them on their base together, and I believe these are just used to symbolize where you are out on the map. Now, I'm going to be doing my best to make these look amazing. So if you're interested, I will be painting up Isofarian Guard tomorrow on my channel, which will be awesome. We're going to do it live. We're going to try to make these guys shine. Now, I believe these come off the bases, so they're a little bit easier to paint, which will be fantastic because I couldn't imagine trying to get in between some of these. But I do like the fact that they're all like back to back, so they're working together. And so we're going to paint up the one that is used for the very first campaign. That's going to be our plan here. Now, how does this guy? Oh, there we go. It goes back in like this. But do know there are all the different ones used for all the different campaigns that you're going to go through, all 5 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I go, well, 1, 2, 3, and then maybe this guy's the 5th one. I don't know. I have no idea, but he looks kind of cool. He's standing on a big giant rock. He comes off as the base as well. Why not? They all come off the base. They're now just getting back on the base. That's half the battle. So, no, actually, knowing is half the battle. We'll put this guy back. We'll call it a day. Okay, so those are all the miniatures. That's and just another big old pan view of them. And please join me tomorrow, Wednesday, the 24th of April. We will be going through and painting the one for the first campaign, and we'll be able to use that then in our playthrough, and that'll be sweet. So there you have it. That is an unboxing of Isofarian Guard by Sky Kingdom Games. This box is out of control. I don't even know what to do about it. It's absolutely huge. I don't think it's going to fit in a calyx, which a lot of people use for their board games, but that's okay. I've got other games that don't fit in there either, so I'm super okay with that. I can always find a spot for a game. That's not the problem. But the space is starting to get limited. As you get more and more games. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the unboxing of Isofarian Guard by Sky Kingdom Games. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when more content comes out. And I will be doing a playthrough of this. And then as time goes forward, Colin and I together are going to be playing through at least one of the campaigns of Isofarian Guard. And if we enjoy it enough, we're going to continue going and have a blast playing through these. And we do those live every Monday on Meet Me at the Table here. It's going to be sweetness. Like I said, I'll be painting up one of the miniatures this Wednesday, April 24th, so please check that out. We're going to do that live. That'll be awesome. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please check out the link in the description of this video for my Patreon. Those that have joined the Patreon are located here on the screen. Thank you so much for your patronage. It means the world to me. It's so fun to have everybody there. Some of the perks for being a Patreon member is you do get to see the videos of my playthroughs a day or two before they go live without commercial interruptions. On top of that, they help decide how the games go forward. They can help decide, for example, characters in the game, what their names may be. They also can help decide the way they're going to be leveling up in games. I may ask for their help to determine how we're going to go forward in certain games. I'm really excited for Isofarian Guard. If you're interested too, please drop a comment in the comment section, or like I say all the time, please feel free to leave anything in the comment section. I would love to hear from everyone. Thank you again so much for watching the unboxing of Isofarian Guard. And if you're excited to see Isofarian Guard or anything else, then I need you to meet me at the table.